Hey, welcome back to Album April. It's April 9th, and today I listened to Bad by Michael Jackson. Happy Easter, by the way. Last year I reviewed Thriller, which is the most successful album of all time in terms of albums sold. Bad should certainly be put in the conversation of most successful albums of all time when it comes to singles. It had 5 number 1 hits in a row, and it had 2 other top 20 hits. When it comes to pure cultural and industry-changing impact, Thriller was a pretty hard act to follow, but if Bad didn't do that, it certainly wasn't for a lack of trying. My first impression of this album, I'm pretty sure this wasn't the case with Thriller. If it was, I think I would have remembered it. But I feel like with Bad, we really got a full introduction to the vocal stylings of Michael Jackson, the ones that have been memed on for, since this album. The, scat singing almost. It was like, stuff like that. And, of course, the high-pitched, hee-hee! Ultimately, I do think that it actually ended up being against the album when it comes to overall quality, because there were so many ad-libs in this album, and it was kind of distracting. But it wasn't just that. Also just, his singing, his tone, it seemed to change since Thriller. It's a lot less smooth. It all seems to be, almost try-hard. There's, a lot of, and a lot of the singing. For a not insignificant amount of this album, I could not understand a word he was saying. And it's really weird because Michael Jackson was a very talented vocalist, and that absolutely came through in Thriller, not as much in Bad. In fact, with the one duet song on the album, I Just Can't Stop Loving You, the guest vocalist, Sita Garrett, she sounded better than Michael Jackson did. My favorite song in Bad was Smooth Criminal. It's a classic for a reason. It was so tightly, meticulously made. There was not a single note out of place. In fact, my only issue with Smooth Criminal has to do with Michael Jackson's vocal performance. It was very rough for no reason I could discern. In fact, I think that's a critique I would have for pretty much the entire album. It almost felt like he was trying too hard for most of it. And I think the worst example of that is Man in the Mirror, because the production in that song is beautiful, but the vocal performance doesn't really match up to it. I wouldn't really say there were any songs from Bad that I didn't like, it's just that they all seemed kind of samey sounding and forgettable to me. My feelings about Thriller were mixed to positive, but with Bad I would say that they were just mixed. If I had to pick yes or no, I would say no, I don't think Bad holds up as an album. The individual singles are a different story, but as a whole, as an album, I don't think it worked that well. Thriller kind of felt like they went into it trying to make a really good, hot-selling album, and then the hit singles just sort of naturally flowed from it. With Bad, it felt like they were trying to make a bunch of hit singles and just sort of put them together. I definitely preferred Thriller over this one. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.